Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team ban. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the joinDOTA League Season 7. We got Swag going up against SHIF in the second game of the series, last game of the day in total. And, well, Swag just stomped SHIF. It took a long time to actually win the game, but there was no point in which Swag were actually behind, so I feel like they pretty much executed exactly what they wanted to. SHIF need to shift something up in a big way. I'm sorry I had to go for that, but I'm like Mike Loris, going to be joined by Grandis for this second game. Got a Bloodseeker being banned out. Swag maybe prepping for some cheese.
And I do love me some cheese, so hopefully it's something interesting. After game number 1, Swag, it was a very impressive show of force coming out from them, but a lot of that came down to SHIF drafting weak lanes, if I'm completely honest. Even though Bounty Hunter can roam around and get kills for his team and help that way, as far as sitting in lane and playing passively and just trying to farm, he's really bad. And when you're coming from behind and you don't have heroes that have reliable ways to get kills, like high nuke heroes like Alina, Leshrac, Gyrocopter, something along those lines, it's really difficult to pile up track gold, and they never really became relevant. So we'll go into game number 2. The Bloodseeker already being banned, as you said. Now we're going to have a Darkseer first for Swag.
It's a pretty interesting pickup first for Swag. Living heroes like Queen of Pain, Tusk still in the pool for SHIF to grab. It is a powerful hero, though I do think Darkseer is probably best left for the 3rd and 4th spot. It's an IO Tiny instead. At the very least, I like how IO Tiny is a drastic change of pace from the last game. It's going to give them global map presence. It's going to give them, pretty strong lanes. Their jungle is going to have to be pretty heavily used, and if Swag, apply any sort of pressure to that jungle, then Tiny IO may be falling behind, but picking this up without any hesitation. I like how SHIF are actually approaching this.
Winter Wyvern, however, the pickup for Swag is not only going to be really good against the IO Tiny, it combos wonderfully with the Darkseer, and I think in general, probably the best pick they could have gone for here. It's really good at stopping IO and Tiny from getting the burst kills, and if you drop that Winter's Curse onto the IO, it's almost a guaranteed IO kill in most fights, so it's very scary to play up against, and it's going to be very difficult for IO to position himself. You kind of have to wait until Winter Wyvern commits the curse before you show yourself inside these team fights, so even though I do like the change of pace coming out from SHIF Gaming, I think Swag are very well equipped to deal with it already.
You have a Clinks being banned out, Clock and Tusk as well. So Swag getting rid of a lot of really tanky, hard to deal with heroes, and with Windwave and Darkseer they're opening kind of low-ish damage heroes. It's easy to understand why. Clinks can be joined by Queen of Pain now for SHIF. As far as heroes that can do well versus IO Tiny, Queen of Pain probably at the top. Swag, their mid lane choices aren't that numerous. Maybe going for Alina seems pretty safe here.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good option for both teams, really. It's just a generally good hero. Although it's probably not going to be lane mid if SHIF pick it up, it could still fit in as a support. A fairly independent hero that can feasibly get solo kills if you get enough experience.
Alternatively, there aren't really many great range heroes that have an absolutely fantastic time versus an IO Tiny, especially an IO Tiny on the Radiant side, much easier to... Okay, well, never mind. The game has just changed in a big way. No longer is it guaranteed to be an IO Tiny mid lane. With techies in the game, we're looking at shenanigans.
Or maybe not. Techies, even if it's not played in a cheesy way with IO Tiny, still synergizes well in the fact that it's very, very difficult to break high ground, and you have the pressure of having that IO Tiny base trading constantly. So if SHIF can take this to a late game scenario, even though it is going to be a little bit awkward coming into the laning stage if they do go for the offlane roaming techies that you see time and time in pubs, they could reach a late game scenario where even if they don't go for the toss suicide cheese techies, that they still could get a lot of traction. So this is, if nothing else, going to be very annoying for Swag to lane against.
Always the threat of suicide is something that is an absolute pain in the ass. Suicide squad attack up against, a soft hero like Winter Wyvern is something you have to always be conscious of. Darkseer can probably take it really easily just because he is so tanky, but Swag, if you get close to techies, bad things happen, and Tiny's really good at putting his allies close to you. So we'll see what Swag have in response to this. If it's not going to be a full-on cheese, well, it's just going to be a Lina pick. I was about to go on this whole thing about how you play around the techies Tiny combo, but it seems like they just want to keep things regular. They're going to draft what they want, and Shift, you guys can do whatever they want as long as Swag get their heroes. Seems like they'll be happy.
Lina and Winter Wyvern are two supports that can feasibly demine pretty easily as long as you have sufficient detection. So maybe they are going to have to rely on this cheesy toss suicide combination, but a big issue with it is that as soon as it doesn't instant kill people, Winter Wyvern can fairly reliably stop people from getting, completely bursted. And Cold Embrace is very, very good against the suicide damage at the very least. Lying to the next pickup for Shift. I'm not sure how this is going to work out for them. Techies is going to be played in a core role, it seems, and I think offlane is the place to go.
Awkward place to be for sure. Yeah, this Lion pickup, Lion is always going to be kind of okay, but he doesn't really do that much in super early stages, a lot like Io, kind of similar to the techies. Yeah, the threat of suicide is always a lot, but I don't really know how these lanes are going to be going down for Shift, and I'm pretty sure Swag don't either, but there isn't really any assortment of lanes where I think Shift get the upper hand over Swag, especially if Swag grabs someone like a Naga Siren right now. It's a little bit worse now that there's a Lion on the field, but, a hero where Sleep in response to Relocate is just a killer against an Io Tiny, and for Illusions to deward those techie mines, it's amazing early on, synergizes pretty well. With Alina roaming around, heroes like that for Swag, I don't really think they have to adapt their game plan too much. The more they go out of their way to try to counter the Shift lineup, I think they're kind of just playing more and more into Shift's hands.
Fair enough. And even as a farming role, Naga Siren could work out. Left in the safe lane, if it is indeed an offlane techies, you can very easily clear out those mines just by fanning Illusions out. And Naga Siren is more than comfortable taking games late, if that is indeed what Shift are looking to do with their picks. Conversely, you could see them pick up another IO partner and have the Tiny techies go into the offlane as a dual lane.
Well, they have 30 seconds to make their selection right now. Swag, what is it going to be? They have their off lane. They have presumably their mid lane, Lina, Winter Wyvern. As far as safe carries are concerned, ideally you would want someone probably to create some illusions, right? Melee is not really desired up against a Tiny. It is going to be the Siren after all.
Yeah, we don't know how they're going to lane this 100%. Swag have a lot of flexibility because Lina and Naga Siren can both be played in support and core roles, and that still could stand in the 5th pick. Who knows? Naga Siren's support with Winter Wyvern, although a tad bit defensive, is very annoying for most traditional offlaners to deal with, and techies is no real exception. They can clear out the mines, and Naga Siren's very difficult to kill with those said landmines. Very armor-heavy hero.
Gyrath Mage being banned out. Swag, it looks like they're just going to be putting Naga Siren, Winter Wyvern, +1 in that safe lane. This is where you really want to have a Gyrocopter pick. It's not going to happen. Shift grab a Wind Ranger. So now I officially don't know anything of what these lanes are going to look like. They have so much versatility in these lanes, like offlane Wind Ranger, it's kind of a thing. Mid lane Wind Ranger is the most common. Hell, even support Wind Ranger used to be a thing. It's still something that I think you probably can get away with running, but in this type of draft, probably not. Shift's late game scaling is actually pretty dangerous, and Swag don't really have any comparable late game situation. Naga Siren as a core in this situation up against a Tiny is not really what you want. You want your Naga Siren to be played as supporty as possible up against a Tiny and a Lion.
Fair enough. Well, as far as other heroes it could be, should be a safe lane farmer. Phantom Lancer might be able to work out again, but instead it's going to be easier. So it looks like Swag wants to put together quickly. Mech on Darkseer, Trums, Sanjinyasha, maybe Ags on Razor, and just start pushing down as quickly as possible before the IO Tiny becomes super relevant. You can run into the issue of having techies against you, but in other news, techies is played by a new stand-in for Shift.
bringing in the ringers to play the techies. We got to get a techies specialist in this game. I do like how Swag got with their last pick, Razor. It's here that should they get a gem, she's whatever, can deward from a super safe distance. Razor and Lina both can get away with that. So the more heroes that you have that are ranged and long range as well, not like some weird short thing with Luna, the safer it is going to be. We see the techies shenanigans. It's going to start out early. Mines are going to start stacking up, and techies is going to be making an unpleasant surprise for someone on Swag, but let's see if Shifts with the shenanigans can actually bring this game back and end up with a draw. They're going to put Matthias on the Wind Ranger going down towards bottom right now. Zuni is playing the Lion. You got no need to complicate on the Tiny with a whole bunch of stats, being followed by RJ Mad on the IO, and of course, it's going to be Kroof on the Techies.
And for the side of Swag, Pride's going to be playing on the Razor, supported by Ned on the Naga Siren. The Showman's going to be taking up the middle Lina. Winter Wyvern down bottom for now, played by Billy, will accompany the Darks here. And, well, although he was the stand-in last game, we have no real confirmation as to what his real name is, so yeah, we'll just leave him as is.
Well, the Techies only makes 3 mines right now, and Razor does have 5 armor, 300 damage physical. It should be enough to kill him. It'll be close. What's the armor reduction? 25%? 225. It is enough to kill him. Barely.
Yeah, 3 mines is generally enough to get these first level heroes. There are a couple characters that can start with Ring of Protection or double Ring of Protection and survive the triple mine stack, but I don't think Razor is one of them, or we pretty much just confirmed that he's not. That said, these mines aren't really designed to kill the Razor. They're mostly for supports as they look to zone out inside the offlane, and if they know it's a techie's offlane, you're going to be playing very passively and should have a sentry somewhere around this vicinity.
Ned is the one with the sentries right now, so if the Naga Siren goes up to the top lane, she won't be able to actually deward any of that. It's going to be up to the Razor. Probably won't come into play so much, but right now, looks like it's just going to be the Lina versus the Tiny IO combination. Lina should be able to last hit just fine, and yeah, she'll be taking a couple of avalanche tosses occasionally, but for the most part in this mid lane, you'd expect this IO to be playing a very hands-off role, spending the majority of his time stacking the jungle whenever he can.
Naga Siren going to throw out these illusions, and although they haven't blown up the mines yet, sooner rather than later, Techie's bomb spots are going to be taken out, and already one of them has been debombed.
That was with the actual mirror images, so no illusion, rune spawn, or anything like that, but the landmines still stick. Naga Siren, don't go in there. Oh, she puts down the sentry. She's going to see them, and yeah, she's going to just charge the... Oh, well, that was a little bit careless from Ned, but, you know, all the mines now are dead for Techies. He had another stack a little bit further down, not really too sure what happened about that, but now Techies, he's gonna get drained a little bit of damage. Looks like Pride doesn't actually want to go for that. Another mine, and Ned suddenly getting really messed up. Yeah, I thought he would just back off and wait for the Razor to clear those out, but a little bit of suicidal play. Down towards bottom lane, super deep dive onto the Wind Ranger. Not gonna work out too well for Billy, and it's actually gonna be killing the Lina of all this happening. My bad, guys. The dive's not gonna result in anything. Looks like the Lina tried to get into a man fight with a Tiny that just didn't work out.
Yeah, Avalanche Toss is going to be her undoing, and across the map, Shift are doing quite well inside this mid lane, but still, even though they don't get that kill on the Windrunner, this is not the safe lane that he really had in mind. Darkseer and Winter Wyvern's incredibly annoying to mess with, and although Ned does get a little bit careless and gets caught inside the half damage radius of those landmines, he's not going to die, and Techies really does thrive on getting that first blood and needs it to secure Soul Ring. Until you have Soul Ring on Techies, it's so hard to get consistent mind stacks. So I admit, going to be caught very low by the Lina, but not quite. Lina's going to die to the Avalanche Toss combination again. And just like that, mid lane's an absolute stomp for Shift.
God damn it, I keep on looking at this bottom lane because everyone's dropping so low, so much fighting on this bottom lane, but the hero casualties are happening in the mid lane. Really just gotta stop that right now. Kroof is also threatening suicide on Ned right now. That should be lethal with level 1 suicide, unless he misses or something like that, but it looks like the Naga Siren's not gonna give him the time of day. Bottom lane, narrowly the Lion gets away from this Darkseer, mostly because of the Shackle Shot landing on the Wind Ranger, but right now, 2 kills on this mid lane, and this Lina really should be having a much better time here, but just now being a couple kills down, it's really hard to recover from that, since Tiny in the semi-dual lane has a level lead over your Lina.
Yeah, and Lina, Avalanche going to be attempted, not going to catch her out. She's still CSing all right, but yeah, experience going Tiny and Io's favor, and in fact, Tiny and Io or at least were, the two highest net worth heroes inside this game. Io has since fallen behind, but Tiny's in a really good situation. Bottom lane again, more diving power coming out from the Darkseer, but this time around he has no mana, has 5 launchers, has his Mango, does have a Surge and an Iron Shell cooling down soon, but can't really go for that. It's going to be forced back and might have to use this up. But again, the Lina in mid, trying to stop through this damage, looking to turn the Dragon Slave, will not get the kill on Io immediately. One more tower shot will, but again, Lina dying means that Tiny's got to be very happy with the amount of gold that he's picking up inside this mid, and this is a hero that you really don't want to give such an early advantage.
2-0-1 on this Tiny with so much gold already. It's not even 4 minutes. I mean, well, now it's 4 minutes in, but he's level 5 at this point. He's looking at insta-kill combo already. He has definitely enough mana to do it just because he is such a high level. And he also hasn't even started to go for his stacks yet. Techie's in the meantime, he's getting roughed up pretty badly up on top lane, but he's not going to die. Taking a look at the stack status, it's not really super highly stacked because the Io has been really hands-on with this lane, which is something that I wasn't expecting. But eventually this Tiny will want to clear that out. And once that happens, he'll be, skyrocketing in net worth. Drums should be very closely approaching, and Techie's really has to be careful. Almost got dropped by the plasma field.
Another something I didn't expect was Io to put 2 points in overcharge. I'm pretty sure he tried to stop that tower shot from hitting him, but he didn't actually have overcharge on when that happened. So maybe RJ Mad's just not going spirits, although that's unheard of.
Usually
He's skilled stats. He's actually not going spirits.
Huh. I don't think I've ever seen an Io not go for spirits. Like, it actually does a lot of damage. It doesn't really seem like it because they happen in, like, weird intervals. But the damage definitely does add up, and at the very least, you get the vision and awareness of it. Yeah, I don't really know. The only hero that he could actually overcharge effectively is Tiny. He'll actually go right in for the Lina, kill him off again with an Avatos combo. I guess it's working out in the end. Like, if they had the spirit damage, it would be kind of redundant, so you might as well try to go for the late game. It's a really greedy way of playing an Io.
Yeah, it does help out with farming stacks too, going for those points in spirits, but I guess we'll just have to say that it's working. 3-0-1, Tiny's on the top of the world, really. His side lanes aren't doing that well. The Windrunner especially is under a lot of pressure and will ferry out her bottle back on the courier. She's not dying, and she's still getting experience, so that's a win. And Techie's, although he hasn't gotten kills, is also not being 100% zoned out. His farm's going to be severely lacking and can't really farm with this hero in lane. At the very least, you can go for big stacks and try to blow those up with landmines. A lot easier on the Dire side than it is on Radiant. But, yeah, it doesn't seem that that's going to be too relevant. Shift should be happy with the current state of the game.
Bottom lane, Darkseer, though, he has the Wind Ranger in his sights, surging forward. Wind Ranger has no mana to speak of. She'll land a shackle, only a mini one, though. Now Darkseer's sticking on her, super close. Ion Shell will get the kill in the end, but now Darkseer's gonna run to an Avalanche Toss. That should be an insta-kill, and it will be. Darkseer going to the wrong neighborhood, and also Wyvern, not a great position either. He's gonna try to TP out of it. Looks like there'll be a Hex just in time, and with the big damage of Tiny, they'll be able to take him down as well. It's a double kill for this Tiny. 1,200 gold, plus Power Treads and Bracer and Wand. 5-0-1. This Tiny's actually just getting everything handed to him.
Yeah. 6.5 minutes into the game, he's halfway towards the Blink Dagger. So you want to go for it? My goodness, he's charging for it for Ned. If he can get the toss on a Naga Siren, that's another kill. Unstoppable for this Tiny. He could also just go straight for the Aghanim Scepter. The world is Tiny's oyster.
And this, if he does get really far ahead, if he does go for a quick Aghanim Scepter, this makes the Io's build so much better. You want to have maxed out overcharge by the time your Tiny is actually relevant as a right clicker, and usually that takes a lot longer. Showman gonna get really close to the Tiny, but just what? Tiny literally walked up, Avalanche Toss, and Lina had no reaction. I don't know what's going on. Now relocate out. It's going to get both the Io and Tiny back up to full. And Billy, you do not want to stand close to that. I don't care how close to the tower you are. Darkseer rather is going to TP in. Maybe he can withstand it, but even that seems unlikely. It's going to be the Io Tiny to return. Avalanche Toss is actually not going to work out because RJ Mad's the one to get tossed. And now they'll get the kill on the Io at least. They do have a net. No, they don't. I'm going to click on Illusion, but they have Ion Shell working away on the Tiny. Impale is there. He is, are you kidding me? Going to get saved by a pause. There's a toss here, and I think, no, okay, he'll toss Ned into Zuni, and then try to get the tower involved.
Either that or just toss the Naga Siren away. That's probably the safest play, but yeah. That's such an awkward time to pause. This also gives Tiny time to consider what the best option is. If he tosses the Naga Siren over to the Lion, they might be able to get the Naga Siren close enough for a little bit more Ion Shell damage too, and Lion only has a Hex. There is no damage coming up from this hero. Another interesting build, 2 points mana drain instead of maxing out Earth Spike. I really don't know what's going on when it comes to skill builds coming out from these heroes, but regardless, I don't think they kill Ned unless he takes... How many tower shots would that take? I think you just throw the Naga Siren away and run. Surge on cooldown for 4 seconds. Actually chasing down this Tiny is going to be difficult unless they commit at least a Mango. And even
it's
then,
definitely the safe play to toss him away. But, you know, back on the subject of this IO build, the faster your Tiny becomes a relevant right-clicker, the more you want his overcharge, and this Tiny is going to be one of the most farmed Tinies that I've ever seen. Like, he'll have his Aghanim Scepter very soon if he wants it. Let's see who he tosses, what he tosses. Straight towards the line, he's gonna draw him back into the tower. The Embrace is there, and Zuni's giving the Ion Shell a hug. Another Avalanche will drop Ned even lower. Surge out. Ned's gonna die to this tower. That will be yet another kill for the Shift side, and Tiny wants more, tossing up the Wyvern. He's really biting off a lot right now. This Wyvern's gonna use his salve, and now Tiny, he's in a little bit of trouble, but he does have stick charge. He's gonna try to draw the Darkseer in, seeing the sticks and the TP, he will get right on out of there, but now a toss from the Io is gonna slow him down a little bit. Io won't get the kill. In fact, the Laguna Blade will get Lina a truckload of gold. Now stunning RJ mad as well. They'll take down the Io. That's a big series of events for Swag. Lina collected, 1,000 gold for the extra bounties alone. She's now level 8.
Although, going for overcharge is really nice if you have the complete Aghanim Scepter on the Tiny, what they wouldn't have paid for some Io Spirits there to kill off the target that they tossed to. I think it was the Darkseer, but still, pretty big disaster for Shift. Tiny's still at the top of the net worth chart. He's still sitting at about 2,000 gold, but now Lina's back in a situation where she can feel semi-comfortable in this lane. As long as she has Laguna Blade up, there's that threat of being able to get the burst kill on the Io in particular. That said, Io's pretty darn tanky, almost 800 HP and has a cloak.
What happens when you get involved in a lot of assists, you just, get a lot of AoE gold. Techies is going to get dropped in the top lane. He just got dropped a little bit too much by the Razor, and then Plasma Field from super long range was able to snipe him out. Pride is still farming really well up on this top lane. Not much the Techies can do about this. But a Razor getting a lot of farm, yeah, it is threatening, but it isn't really close to the threat level of a now Blink Dagger Tiny. So, yeah, with this Blink Dagger pickup, it's obviously really nice for the Tiny, but it means that this IO build is, I think, just incorrect. I see no scenario where this is the better build.
Yeah, but still, the Blink Dagger up on the Tiny is going to mean that he can keep up this aggression and keep on farming heroes. If he does go for a couple of ill-fated dives, however, and we see trades like what happened in mid, where Lena's able to turn around with a Laguna Blade and a Light Strike Array, then this advantage that Shift have gotten in the early game, although it used to be almost a 2,500 net worth lead, will be completely gone. And in fact, we're pretty much at dead even. Relocate up top, however, they have the Blink Abatos right on top of Ned. Abatos is going to be the death of Naga Siren, and they can just very freely relocate out of here. They'll earn up the IO, simultaneously healing up the Tiny, and there's no way to cancel this at the moment. Although Winter's Curse is now up to the Winter Wyvern as soon as that creep wave died. But still, not going to happen. They'll be back in the mid lane safely.
Really just the way of the lanes outside of this mid lane that's working out really well for Shift. Like, this Techie's obviously not going to do much versus a Razor. That's never really going to be in the cards. But bottom lane, the Darkseer is doing really well, and Techie's forced to suicide because he was scared of that Plasma Field. He can keep himself safe from the Plasma Field, yes, but over towards mid, Avatos into the Lina. She will drop to the Tiny for the upteenth time. Darkseer's still doing quite well on this bottom lane. Will get spiked. It's only level 2 at this point, though, and going for the mana harassment. Not really sure if that's the best way to deal with the Darkseer, but either way, top lane is being pushed right now with the net onto creep. He does not have suicide, and Swag know about this. This is a dead Techies for sure, and it's going to be the Razor to get the last hit on the Techies, and probably should be able to get the last on the tower as well.
They'll toggle the aggro off of Ned and Cold Embrace him just for safety measures. They'll take the tower down. The catapult will, and well, with that, Swagger getting quite a lot of gold, even after such a roaring start for the Tiny. 9-1 into, well, rip in pieces Naga Siren. Techies is going to blow her up. Now that those remote mines are online, scouting with the illusions is much less reliable way to clear out those bomb stacks.
And Io has a relocate. Are they going to go for the Wyvern? They know that he's super low right now, but it looks like they're not going to make that jump. That's a little bit too risky, I suppose. You don't know the mana status, you just get frozen in place of the curse, and you're just screwed, though. The Winter Wyvern, narrowly getting out of there. If she was a little bit closer to the first mine, I think maybe could have dropped, but I don't know, just caught the tail end of that. Either way, Techies is going to be somewhat of a threat right now, since he has been getting levels the entire time. Swag, they've been farming all this time for drums on Razor, which is pretty good, but I don't really know if it's going to be enough to deal with this Tiny. Tiny's Avalanche Toss combo is not necessarily enough to insta-kill the Razor, but it'll make it so that the Razor has to fall back straight after. No, I thought that was relocated. Never mind. They're going to camp in the mid lane and look for the Lina, and they found her. Avalanche Toss, dead.
Nothing else to do there, and even the other heroes on Shift's side are also very scary. You have a level 6 on the line. Finger of Death can very easily get kills on these heroes coming up from Swag. Not the greatest HP pulls on them, although Nagasaran might be able to pull off a mirror image dodge of the Finger of Death damage. Nobody else can really be so lucky. Tier 1 tower, however, in bottom lane is going to be pressured, and it doesn't look like Shifter is super interested in contesting that yet, but now that Tiny is here, maybe they could get some kills on the retreat. Blink Avatos, that'll kill off the Razor instantly, even though a Song of the Siren was committed. That's only going to prove to get the retreat out for the other two. Man, nobody is really safe at this point. I think all of the heroes on Swag instantly died to the Avatos.
They don't really have any responses to it either. Oh, Shom, don't go over there. Okay, you can go over there. The bait, the slow bait, pop it. There it is. No?
He needed more damage. Only 3 mines there is not enough for a kill on the Lina, I don't think. It's 900 magic damage wouldn't have been enough.
Okay, would have been... Well, just hit him once, right? 900 with 25% magic resist. That would have been enough.
He
I don't know. I
like
feel like you just go
landminer
for it.
or
At the very least, you keep yourself alive because Lina's scared shitless.
Fair enough. I don't think it's right to not blow the mines, but it also doesn't get him the kill. It would have saved his life, probably.
Well, Techi's dying, not really a terribly huge deal, and I guess he's playing a slow game, waiting for someone who's worth a little bit more than Lina, because they've been camping the crap out of this Lina. She still has actually 4k net worth, and her net worth situation isn't so terrible, considering how many times she's gotten jumped by this Tiny. But, yeah, it's still, you know, worth going for it. Wind Ranger, she's gonna get caught with the burn, as well as Splinter Blast, slow to a crawl, Curse is there as well. She's trying to buy time for the Nagasiren to alive. She chows down her Mango, but she can't quite get in range for the net. With another, actually, Splinter Blast, the Wyvern's gonna get this kill just by herself. Really well executed by Billy.
Mid lane, Tiny's coming in, and if Darkseer sticks around, this could be really bad for him. He's going to drop an Ion Shell, and oh, they catch vision of him. The blink is cancelled. Look at the Avatos, but only on a creep, so it's not going to do as much damage as it could have, and I don't think they'll chase forward, or maybe I've spoken too soon. He's going to blink forward behind the tier 2 tower, caught out by the Light Strike Array and the Laguna Blade. Vacuum back, Tiny's bitten off way more than he can chew, and he's going to be chowed down by the Lina, but here's the long con coming out from the Techies. It's not going to happen. They don't go up onto that high ground. This time around, he has 4 mines, but another thing, these 4 mines are very spread out, so there are some spots where not all of them will reach. I don't think there's any benefit to not stacking them directly on top of each other, or at the very least, really close.
Oh, and Kroof, he's going to be forced to suicide. Luckily, he gets it out before the LSA actually connects, which otherwise would have killed him. I don't know how many landmines are here, but looks like, by the way, my graphics are glitching. Quite a few. Mid lane's going to be pushed in regardless of that fact. Eventually, someone's going to walk into this remote mine stack simply because they don't expect it, but I don't know if you can get better than the Lina before that. It seems a little bit too greedy. Tower's going to drop TP coming in from Crave, not really going to do that much, and it's 15-12 right now, even though, yeah, Swagger working up against Super Farm, Tiny, they're actually not in terrible position. Tiny's going to relocate down to the bottom lane, but the Darkseer gave them the slip by running down to the south. She has to buy time for 8 seconds. They might just leave this Tiny here, but it does have a Blink Dagger. In fact, the Wind Ranger's going to get dropped really low by the Ion Shell and the Surge. Shackle's going to connect. What angle was that? And Darkseer is going to drop in the end.
Yeah, very well done down that bottom lane. Shift will find those kills. As far as this mine stack is concerned, the heroes that will die to it are Nagasiren and Lina. It does 900 damage at the moment to standard magic resist, and nobody is building into a Glimmer Cape as far as I can see, so those are the 2 that Techies is going to be looking out for. And right now, they're close by, but not going to walk over them, as Lina needs to go straight back to base, and I'm pretty sure that Ned will do a similar rotation.
Well, eventually someone's going to walk into it, and that probably is going to give Techies some sort of kill, because Swag don't expect anything up here. They walked in there with the Lina, didn't get blown up, therefore you should assume it's safe. Tiny looks like he actually has his Aghanim Scepter. It's 16 minutes Ags with the Blink Dagger. This is pretty much as fast of an Aghanim Scepter as you could possibly expect from a Tiny ever. And, well, he's going to be really hard to deal with. I think the only reason he died in that mid lane scenario is because he dove simply way too far and got hit with an LSA. So he does have to be careful about Yule's initiation, but as long as he's the one doing the jumping, he should be able to get kills and get out without too much of an issue on anyone, really. Like, he sees Pride right now, I'm pretty sure this Razor just dies.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the average time for a Tiny Aghanim Scepter is 17 minutes in, and that's as a first item without the Blink Dagger, so it's a very good time. He'll relocate, they're going to catch out the Starks here. Looking for the Avatos initiation, they're going to drop the wall, and that time is going to do a lot of damage, especially with the Winter's Curse. The Avalanche Toss eventually should be able to kill off the Darkseer, but no, not with the Cold Embrace and the Song. They completely isolate the Tiny, but they need a little bit more help. Tiny is going to be doing battle against himself a little bit, tosses up the illusion in the air, suicide kills off one, but the Tiny goes down just the same. A double kill. Oh! No! Double kill for Techies, too.
So close to getting out of there, man. So close, yet so far. Maybe the Lina's going to do a kill over in mid lane. In fact, she is, unless she really messes up here. LSA is going to connect. Shadow Laguna Blade will decide to use it, even though it really didn't need to. It's going to be a kill for the Showman over in mid. And, oh, Wyvern, don't go over there. Go south. No. No. Are you kidding me? What?
Okay, he wants the Lina. The stack has not been prepared in that large camp, however, so I don't think Lina's gonna walk over there. I don't know, you should take that kill.
You take any kill as Techies. Like, maybe if, like, the rest of the team is there and you're like, okay, well, I could probably get two heroes here, then you do it.
The Showman? Goes
and Ned. Oh, but there's a gem on the Naga Siren now.
Oh, no.
Did you see it? She definitely saw it.
Yeah, those are gone.
Man, Techies, why? And of course, guys, if you don't know, mirror images also get the effects of auras, and Gem is considered a true sight aura. Lina can just wrap around and kill this off, easy peasy. Yep.
And there's nothing that's going to happen, and also funny, walking up that bottom ramp, Lina uses herself right on top of it, expecting bombs, so... well, Techies' game just got a whole lot harder. Naga Siren's one of those supports that really is kind of hard counter Techies because of this, just the illusions spamming early, and then picking up an early gem. Great gem carrier for the team. Right now, her illusions do absolutely no damage, so she can't deward them herself, but at least they know they shouldn't be walking there anytime soon.
And so now that Techies is going to be, you know, countered to some degree, it's just a matter of, are the rest of Shift's heroes ready to take up the slack of having one fewer hero in the game, or at least one much weaker hero in the game? Aghanim Scepter is being built up on the Wind Ranger, should be up really, really soon, and this Tiny is incredibly stacked, so I think the Techies, even though he's not really going to be the hugest factor in this game, should be big enough to really make things difficult for Swag. They're going to chase forward quite far, knowing that Ned's true sight is there if need be. And, yeah, relocate down to the bottom lane. Pride gonna get blinked upon. Avalanche, toss. Miner's slow, and now Shackle's gonna latch from long range. Pride's gonna get beaten down. That is another Shackle to land from a really ridiculous angle, but actually they go right back into the relocate, and that's gonna lead to the Io's death.
Well, IO being lost is not the end of the world. I don't think they'll catch anything else. Oh, Techies gonna walk around the corner. He needs to suicide right on impact and will. Light Strike Array, although it's pretty reliable to set up after the Yule Scepter, it has to be perfectly timed if you're going to stop that play. Disconnection coming out from the IO. We're gonna be paused, but yeah, I think you're right. Right now, the Shift heroes are in a situation where they can still do well, even with Techies not being a major factor. Take a look at the net worth. The distribution is perfectly set up for such a situation. Techies, although he's not very high himself in net worth department, has forced the Naga Siren to buy a bunch of detection. She bought this early gem. The rest of the heroes are doing just fine. Lion already has his Blink Dagger, Tiny has Blink Eggs, and more gold on top of that. The Aghanim Scepter is done on the Wind Ranger, although it hasn't been delivered yet. And Io is very farmed as far as Ios are concerned, so I think Shift playing this 4v5 is a definite possibility.
And eventually this Techies is going to get to a point where he does have his Aghanim Scepter. He does have enough mana regen to actually play the, I always call him a defensive Brood Mother type hero, where he just, you know, kind of leaves the game and plays his own game for a little while. And then something Swag might think is that, hey, this Techies, we have a gem, we're fine, we don't have to worry about this Techies. And then they walk over a giant stack of mines. Techies hasn't really had a great track record about blowing up his remote mines in this game, but eventually he should be able to get there because the Tiny Wind Ranger are getting so much gold that they'll be able to buy the Techies near infinite space. And, well, Swag, they have taken down the tier 1 towers across the board for Shift, but that's about all they have done right now. They need to get a couple more kills. They need to make sure that this Tiny doesn't get completely explosively out of control, although at that point I think it might even be too late.
And the thing about Swag's lineup this game is they kind of want to be ahead right now. Those items I was talking about in the draft, the Eul Scepter on the Lina, the Aghanim Scepter on the Razor, the Mechanism up on the Darkseer, are coming up quickly. But it doesn't feel like they're going to have as big an impact as Swag really need, because even if you start losing control and start getting pressure, that's where Techies really shine. This game kind of feels like he's more of a safety net rather than I'm just going to kill you all and become godlike Techies. That's not this game for him, at least.
See if what actually pans out. It is also worth noting the Lion does have his Blink Dagger pickup, so as far as the non-techies here on the Shift side, they're all incredibly farmed with items that are, for the most part, what they want at this stage of the game. And well, even Blink Dagger on Lion 20 minutes in is actually pretty timely, so it's going to be a tier 1 tower to drop on this bottom lane. Will they go for more? Where's the IO? He's dead, so it's unlikely that they're going to fully commit to more, but hey, they see someone like a Darkseer. That is a potential go if they actually... Oh, Winter Wyvern, no! Okay. Well, I think at this point...
Kill. Again, it's 675 damage.
Yeah, but the Techies knows that Swag knows, so you might as well get free damage when you can, right?
Fair enough. I don't think Winter Wyvern would have been fussed. She has Cold Embrace, so would have been up at fighting amounts of HP sooner rather than later, so I think at this point Swag just don't care that there are mines there because none of them will die to them.
Someone's gonna walk over that at lethal range, and now Naga Siren's like, someone please deward this, or demine this rather, and Pride's gonna get right to that. So yeah, Techies, where are your mines now? And I'm actually asking that legitimately, where are his mines? I don't see any.
Nor do I. He has no landmines out, there is no indicator on Techies saying that, and I think his last remotes have just been de-bombed, so this is a sad Techies. At least for now, he has absolutely no mines. So the Techies without mines is like peanut without butter. It's not great.
Peanuts are fine, dude. What the hell are you talking about?
I don't know. It was supposed to be good. We'll forget that happened.
Okay, that's fine. And he's also being forced to use Suicide Squad attack, like, almost purely defensively, so it's not even like he's offering any offensive power. You can start leveling Stasis Trap, and Stasis Trap is actually pretty ridiculous. Need to see more techies grab that, but 19 to 18 right now, and still a Tiny. He's farming up an absolute storm. Hyperstone now being picked up, and looks like he has an Assault Cuirass in mind at some point in his future. They're going to, well, find the only one remote mine on the map and kill that one off. But Tiny's just waiting for someone to get a little bit too close. Then he's going to pounce. Yes, the giant rock man is going to pounce, but there's no one really in range that he sees right now, and they're actually considering relocating in bottom lane, I'm sure, as Showman has a haste rune. He's going to want to look for Zuni, but quick TP out from the line to keep herself alive. In the meantime, top lane wall has been deployed, and Darkseer now still has the jukes on. Ned does have a Song of the Siren. They're actually going to try to turn things around and try to go for Mad. The Tiny Illusion beating him down, hitting so hard. Short tether back, toss up on the Darkseer, and now the Song is there. Mad's still surviving, but you know, it looks like the Darkseer wants to get this kill. Here comes Pride, gonna put up his ultimate, but the blink out. No, it's gonna blink right into Alina. In fact, that's not out. That's in the wrong direction. Elsa, however, does miss. The rest of the lightning damage will not. This Tiny is gonna die, and it looks like the IO, well, stuck around for some reason, is gonna die as well. They hit down the Winter Wyvern on the bottom lane, but steep cost.
This is not a good situation for Shift. Tiny's really the only hero that they can't afford to lose. Everybody else is, although you don't want to be losing them, expendable. Tiny's that one hero that kind of needs to be doing well, and he still is, net worth-wise. That's a lot of momentum for Swag. Lina's going to start transitioning to her next item. Looks like that's going to be an Aghanim Scepter as the point booster on the Courier, as the Ogre Club in the stash is only 1,000 gold shine. Once Ags comes out, the IO is not going to be having a fun day. That casual cloak that's currently in his inventory isn't going to be helping him much anymore. If they want to, they can just burst him down at the start of the fight every single time. Wind Ranger down in bottom will get some pressure onto the tier 2. Glyph is going to delay. Now Wind Ranger needs to book it. Winter Wyvern's the one to TP, so they won't be able to catch immediately, and Lion's there to secure the retreat, so it's just going to be some decent chip damage.
Tier 2 tower on top lane is held, and that's really what's relevant here. The Razor, he has the Aghanim Scepter coming out to him, and there's also extra point booster for the Lina. She's only 800 gold away. The spike in power that Swag are going to experience in just a little while once Lina picks up her Aghanim Scepter is going to be insane. Not only will they have more hero killing power with the Ags Lina, but the Aghanim Scepter Razor means that these tier 2 towers are no longer going to stand for much longer. They could actually just walk in, look for a fight 3 times in a row, take down all the tier 2s, and if Shift want to fight it, I'm pretty sure Swag will be okay at this point, just taking that fight out. The Avalanche Toss combo will insta-kill off, you know, maybe one support or something like that, but it can't kill off everyone, and it's not going to be able to kill off the Razor.
Game's slowed down a little bit. Shift will keep up this pressure over on the lane, but no fights have actually happened. Not even pickups for the Tiny, although he definitely wanted it. They'll get a free tier 2 tower in mid as he just smacks it down with his tree branch. Shifter's still getting some momentum, but when's the point that they push high ground? It's very scary up against a Naga Siren and a Darkseer.
It is 20-20 right now. It's at the end of the day an even kill score. Not really what I expected given the amount of times this Tiny has killed off this Lina, but it seems like Lina for the most part is recovering. Bottom lane, Wind Ranger is going to get out of there before she gets vacuumed back or anything dangerous like that, but now the Eye of the Storm is going to start ticking. The IO Tiny combo, they're pushing up top lane and they can race really quickly. And so, especially when there's not that much defense on this top lane, they're just gonna go for it. Overcharge is maxed out at this point. They have a TP coming at the Darkseer. He has his vacuum, he has his wall, the straight blink out. They're gonna curse up RJ Matt. He still has a reload out, gets a wall drop squarely on him, vacuum back as well. Tether is up and he will get very far away. Is there any sort of follow-up here? They need just one more skill to land, but it's not gonna happen. Instead, they caught the lane. That's exactly what they wanted, but it's still something.
Consolation prize. Maybe they can catch out the IO on the return trip. Is Tiny going to be tethered? No. And looks like IO is going to end up dying here. No Glimmer Cape, no way to retreat. RJ and Mad will die, so both of the supports for Shift are going to bite the big one. Swag will find a little bit of something in return for losing so many of their tier 2 towers and a lot of damage on that tier 3 top. This is going to transition that Aegis Scepter up for the Lina, so Swag do get a big leap in power because of it, but still Shift are maintaining map control.
That is something that's not really quantifiable in the graphs. With only one tier 2 tower left to stand, Shift's game plan to be pretty clear. Just put the IO Tiny in the bottom lane, have the techies, maybe play a couple of defensive mines somewhere. Well, I still don't see any real mines, and now he's gonna get lifted up with the Yule Scepter, dropped into an LSA, or in theory, he's just gonna commit suicide on landing. Yeah, he's working towards the Aegis Scepter, but he's not actually playing defensive techies yet. He needs to, though, because, well, the tower's going to drop in the mid lane, and Shift can very easily shuffle over to the, well, the tower's going to drop on top lane, they can shuffle over to the mid lane and take that last tier 2 very easily.
Well, we're going to have yet another pause. The pace of the game is really being messed up by so many pauses from both of these teams, but hopefully that doesn't maintain the case. Slug Cuirass flying out to the Tiny is going to mean that trading against this Tiny is going to be even more scary for Swag to work around. Although they do have potent pushing in their own right, it's not this lethal. Aegis Scepter on Razor is good, but Tiny's just that much faster. He's going to get cut out a little bit in the bottom lane, but has a blink out and has a Wind Ranger coming in from the sidelines. Maybe they even jump on the Darkseer, and then Avalanche will connect. Toss to follow up, although it's not the Darkseer who gets tossed into the air. Shackle attempted, going to shackle 2 creeps together, and that's going to be all she wrote. I don't think there's any further fight, at least until Tiny has another combination up. He's going to start smacking down that tower. In fact, he's almost going to take it before the relocate snags him back home.
They're trying to chase forward for the Wind Ranger. They won't be able to catch up to her, even with Surge. Tower is in deny range. Looks like Swag aren't interested or unaware of that, but it is also worth noting that every single time Tiny picks up, an item like Assault Cuirass, some sort of aura item, as I said before, illusions do carry auras. So if the Darkseer is going to be dropping a Wall of Replica on the Tiny, which he has been doing, first of all, the Tiny illusions just hit hard because he has so much damage, but also they get the Assault Cuirass aura, essentially balancing itself out, which is a pretty interesting interaction. Tiny's just going to go ahead and backdoor top lane because he's a big guy and he doesn't care about what you think. However, Curse is there. RJ Mad can get locked down. They vacuum them both in, and with the first damage of the Laguna Blade, they'll kill off both. For a tier 3 tower, probably still worth it, but they can't really keep doing that all day long.
That's a big gold swing in the favor of Swag. 2,200 in their favor, and similar experience change for their team. If you compare that to what Shift got for that tier 3, it's probably about even, maybe slightly in favor of Shift, but yeah, as you said, they can't keep on going for that exchange, but a big pickup for them. Techies has a full Aegis Scepter, and this is going to mitigate the effects of that gem. Whenever Swag try to push, if they don't respect this line sign, they could get caught out in a big way.
And Techies doesn't even have to place mine under the sign, you just put it there and then it's a brick wall that Swag will not pass because they don't know what's hiding underneath it. They'll take down Roshan after this tiny kill, and that's a pretty good one. Wind Ranger knows about it, has a blink dagger, can't really do anything about it, unfortunately. Now Lina's coming in with a haste. Not going to find the Wind Ranger, but the Roshan either way will be cleared out by the Swag side, grabbed by the Razor. So now Mines, Pride is more than happy to sit in those mines and take that hit if it means that the rest of his team can get something out of it. Still, Shift have this top lane, which is open now, and relocating a Tiny with an AC in like that is possible for them to get some racks, but instead they're going to try to go for Lina down towards the bottom. LSA is going to whip. They're going to focus their attention on Io right now. Looks like RJ mad. He's burning down super quickly. Will get relocated out just in time, but that means no need to complicate is left behind. Has a blink dagger, and he should be able to get out. No, he actually doesn't use it in time, and now he can hit with the LSA. Arctic Burn is there as well as the damage drain. He's going to die to something here. He's going to try to do his best, but in the end, it's Lina in an act of karmic vengeance to get the kill. Top lane pushed, but not really doing any damage.
Techies right now is starting to place some vision mines inside the enemy woods. In fact, he's actually blocked out the medium camp with a landmine, the small camp with a landmine, the large camp over on the left-hand side spotted out by a remote, the high ground vision is spotted out by a remote. So this jungle is pretty much Techies. Although he's not going to be killing anybody that walks in here, at the very least, Shift have vision control.
That is sometimes just going to be all you need, but still, Techies now really settling into his Broodmother-esque role. Is just going to be constantly pushing up the top lane and threatening Swag. Like, Swag really don't want to walk up this cliff unless the Naga Siren is there. They will very quickly realize that there aren't really a ton of mines to be had. Oh, Darkseer's going to blink right into one, but with the hood, he'll eat that one, no problem. Techies can get forced out a little bit, and Swag can shove this wave as much as they want, but in the end, it is going to be the Techies to get the upper hand here, because he only needs 1-2 mines to shove the lane right back into the Dire.
Well, this game really hasn't changed all that much. The teams have been posturing, but no major objectives have been taken for quite some time. Roshan is going to be up in, like, I don't know, 6 minutes or so. The Aegis is still on the Razor, but I don't see this Aegis Immortal convincingly being able to pull high ground, especially not if you get shackled. They won't be able to follow up and kill off that Razor, and even though Techies doesn't have bombs to stop this high ground push yet, maybe just placing down a mindset would be enough to stop it in its tracks.
I think it will. Like, you don't really want to push into an unknown amount of mines. Could be a million, could be 0. Who knows how many they could be? I guess that they can't be a million, but for the most part, it's a threat that you don't really want to mess with. Wind Ranger going to snag the deny, and well, Swag are going to be a little bit upset about that, but hey, they walk in, they take a tier 2 tower, they still have the Aegis. Again, they can't really afford to race a tiny IO combo just because that is so quick, but now the towers are more or less equal. In fact, Swag are actually, no, they're actually completely even. So, you know, towers are even, and this IO tiny, as they lose, or as they take more towers, they get a lot stronger, but at the same time, Swag, they're getting a lot of map control back by destroying these powers of Shift.
Aegis is going to be reclaimed in 2 minutes, but down in bottom lane, they're going to relocate for the tier 2. Blink is going to delay, looking for the avalanche. It's going to be way too early. Blink out by the Tiny, trying to relocate out to safety. Wall is there, vacuum back. The IO's alive. They need to stun RJ mad. The Winter's Curse is going to kill him on impact. And, well, now Tiny is completely isolated without his best buddy. And now walking back in the wall, trying to suicide to the Darkseer, I suppose. He's going to go down to another death for both the IO and the Tiny. Is going to mean that Swag find themselves with a pretty big opportunity. Although I'm not sure if they can get to high ground before the Aegis expires.
That was a big gold swing yet again, and I thought the IO was going to get them both out of there. The relocate was dropping down, it's like 1 second-ish, somewhere around there, but the Laguna Blade coming out just in time and stopping the IO dead in its tracks. So Swag are going to try to crack back as best they can. The Razor, though, he has his hands tied over in the mid lane, where the power shot is thinning that one out up towards top. Ned is pushing that, and he's the one with the gem. Again, they don't really know where these techies' mines are. Unknowing to Swag, the mines are in the pole camp. Yeah, that's not where I expect mines to be, I suppose, but they may be cautious about pushing up this high ground without having the Naga Siren right there. Naga Siren doesn't have travels. She's actually gone for a Diffusal Blade. This is not really a common item seen on supporting Naga Sirens. There's nothing to purge off. It's this only real indication that she wants to go for a more late game build.
Yeah, very interesting. If this does, in theory, go late, Swag could transition to Naga Siren. It's going to take a lot of time. Although Diffuse Blade's a good item to have when you're carrying Nagas, it's not the greatest farming item, and he's not going to find that much space with it. I'm not a huge fan. If you're going to try to go for the hard transition, maybe just save it for the Relic.
You may say, oh, it's 30 minutes, it's way too late to get a Relic, but for Naga Siren who's trying to recover with the illusions that are already maxed out, it's really never too late to get a Radiance on her, especially since no one else on the team has it. You might as well get that, the damage first of all, but also the blind evasion mischance thing that's going on with the Radiance nowadays. That is also something that you just want to have on your team, and Ned is probably the best hero, definitely the best hero in Swag to actually grab it. So I would have also liked to see him go for that Radiance, but either way, they're going to be looking for initiation over in mid. They do catch the Wind Ranger with the curse, and here comes the Joma, and Laguna Blade is there, and that'll eviscerate the Wind Ranger. Super easy kill for Swag.
Yeah, very well. Swag have found pick-off after pick-off, and now Lena's wicked sick after a pretty terrible start. If I'm honest, the net worth advantage is now in Swag's favor for the first time in a long time this game. It's not a huge advantage, but it's a lead nonetheless, and experience is a little bit more impressive. Tiny finally gets the tier 2 tower in bottom lane, and now blinks forward looking for the Razor. He's not doing enough damage by himself. BKB pop by Razor is going to look for the static link, and they have a Darks here, although he is going to get Kraken. The relocate's going to save both of their lives. I guess that's good for Shift, since they do force out the BKB on Razor. That was a 10-second charge, and they get a tier 2, and they both survive.
Oh, they're going to try to book it with this IO, but there are way too many heroes here. Now Ned to the ground is going to drop. It's, yeah, unfortunate that the IO drops there. He's down for 40 seconds, but at least, again, saving the Tiny is worth it. For a tier 2 tower, you don't really want to be, again, suiciding all that often. Now Tiny's actually going to be walking into a whole bunch of heroes. Blink straight out. Looks like Darkseer not willing to commit vacuum there, and Witch Wyvern doesn't have a blink of his own, so 20 to 30, and Swag is ahead with a small lead, but again, they're super hesitant about busting out high ground. They don't have to be scared of anything. If Swag knew about this, this game would probably be over by now. I have no idea why this Techies is mining in this area. I feel like this just isn't really what you should be doing as Techies.
And again, it's another situation where spreading out the mines this much might deny you a kill, because right now the only spot that will get guaranteed kills is if they walk through this avenue.
Like that.
And, oh, speak of the devil.
No.
Nope.
Well, they're trying. The bait.
There we go.
It's real. Rip Billy. Shack Shot 2, and that's going to blow up the Winter Wyvern. They also have the Darkseer in the air. They'll kill him off. The long con. The super long con. It works, I guess. Darkseer doesn't have a buyback. Shift actually might be able to take Raxes right now.
Yeah, and Tiny can take them very quickly. Razor's going to be forced back. Naga Siren Song's there to delay. This is a window that Shift didn't have previously, and it all comes down to those small camp mines. Oh, let's see if they can pull this off. They're going to chunk away at that range barracks. One smack, and it's already down about 300 of its HP. They're going to try to commit. Buyback from the Wyvern. Mule step over onto the Wind Ranger. The Light Strike Array will connect. Laguna Blade there, and the Wind Runner is going to be dropped incredibly low. They'll have a Dragon Slave for whenever she comes out, and they just run the song over towards the left, and they'll be able to get her just the same. Light Strike Array over onto the Techies. They'll try to focus him down as Tiny gets killed over onto the Naga Siren. Winter's Curse onto the Tiny, taking a lot of damage. Even more importantly, his damage is being drained. Gem on the deck, Razor chasing with 168 stolen, trying to catch out these two as they TP. Light Strike Array are going to do it from Fog. They find him, but way too late. They've already made it safely back to base.
It's only 2 kills for Shift. They don't, or for Swag rather, they don't take Rax's Swag, and the Mine Post has actually been used, trying to use it offensively to dissuade Swag from defending. Obviously that was a bluff that was called instantaneously, but Techies and Wind Ranger to fall, and Techies not even, dying for real, using Suicide there. Not really a terribly huge deal for Shift. Again, they keep their Tiny alive in a situation where he probably should have gone down after losing so much damage to the Razor, but either way, he was able to walk out of there. Raxes weren't taken by Shift, so I guess for Swag, that's something to be kind of happy about, but they also offer us to use the buyback on the Wyvern. I don't really know if there are any huge items the Wyvern can grab to really, try to end this game for Swag. Obviously, you want to go for something like a Refresher Orb against a Tiny like this, but yeah, it's way too far away for that. I don't think actually the buyback is going to matter too much for him as far as his income is concerned.
Yeah, if you take a look at Wyvern's inventory, really the only thing he could hope to really get, maybe a Blink Dagger or a Solar Crest, and yeah, I don't think it's going to delay either of those items too much. Tiny's going to be sitting inside the Roshan pit. Unfortunately for him, it's a long Roshan respawn timer. In fact, it's just shy of max. Well, going forward, they're going to look for this burst kill onto the Darkseer, and they'll find it. Another pick off for Shift, although this time I don't think they're in a position where they can go for high ground.
Well, they'll try to go for it. Darkseer still does not have a buyback. He decided Shiva's Guard recipe is better. And, well, I disagree. But, yeah, either way, he's, well, not going to maybe even need it to actually catch Zuni. Actually going to spike up Ned. Not much follow-up there, but now Showman's looking for Laguna Blade. Will slay the line instantly. Let's look at the curse from the Tiny. He's trapped without the IO, but now the IO is going to try to come in and save him. It's not going to happen. They sing the IO to sleep, and that's going to cancel the relocate. They take down the Tiny. They should be able to take down RJ Matt after. They purge him with the Diffusal Blade, lift him up, drop him into an LSA. That's a 3 kill for Swag, and the split push for Shift, it's just not there. Although Matthias is going to start to try. He's just going to walk right up the top lane. Backdoor protection will not be there, actually, with the focus fire. They're going to force the Fortify out. 2 landmine mines are now placed. Billy does not know how many there are there, so he'll have to play this super cautiously, but the Raxes are held, and this damage will regenerate.
Maybe even more importantly, Swag secure the gem away from the line, so even if Naga Siren dies and loses her gem, they'll still have a gem up against the techies. And now Shift's map control is going to completely fall around them. The only reason they were able to maintain some wards on this map was because they had a gem of their own, but techies up top. It looks like they want to go for him. They're going to Glimmer forward, Arctic Burn, Blink forward by the Darks here. If they can kill him, it's a pretty important kill since he is sitting on a Bloodstone. At the very least, force out a suicide. They'll need to commit a Winter's Curse, but they don't have one for 30 seconds. So Techie's worst case scenario is forced to blow himself up. It looks like he's going to blow himself up. That's still Bloodstone charges down the tubes.
Yeah, it's something for Swag. They also don't have to worry about this Techie's actively pushing this top lane anymore. Techie's actually instantly respawns again, so that's pretty convenient, I guess. Express trip back to the base. Blows his remote mines in the top lane. Doesn't do nearly enough damage for this Darkseer. He's working with the Hood of Defiance now. It's no longer an easy kill. I mean, it never really was an easy kill in the Darkseer, let's be honest, but it's really difficult to kill him off now. Gem is going to be grabbed, actually, by the Wind Ranger. She takes the Lina by herself, ending a Beyond Godlike streak, but this Wind Ranger, man, deadless double damage is no joke.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrifying to be playing up against, and she has a full Daedalus. They can very easily transition to Roshan. Their Roshan damage is immense, even with no minus armor other than the Assault Cuirass.
That is just disgusting, dude. That is so much damage on Roshan. Now Tiny has a double life. They're going to smoke up and try to look for a game-ending push right now. Tiny actually is going to lose his crit because he's going to value the Aegis a little bit higher. Black at this point have a wall in 20 seconds. They really can't afford to lose the Razor here. That'll be a disaster. Looks like they won't. Shift, are they actually powerful enough, even with this Aegis, to go for a straight push? I'm not convinced that they are. I still think just this slow, ratty style is probably their best bet. Wait for the Wind Ranger to get some sort of pickoff, like on, say, a Darkseer up on top lane, then go for that really devastating push.
Power Shot's going to be a little bit off to the left, so they won't be able to find the Darkseer as he's TPing out, but yeah, I think that's about right. Or maybe wait for an odd mine stack. But this Techies hasn't really been placing mines to actually get kills. It's mostly just to keep these lanes pressured, and at least at that, he's doing a pretty good job.
Like with the Bloodstone in his inventory now, he could probably be doing both. You don't really need a ton of mines to clear out a creep wave. It does a disgusting amount of damage. Smoke's gonna break. They actually do catch the Techies with a Eul Scepter, drop him into an LSA, but that's not gonna happen again, as Techies just killed himself immediately. More Bloodstone charges down the tubes for him. Swag gets a smoke gank used for not really too much. You really want to get a little bit more than just a random Techie suicide off of a smoke.
Yeah. It's reasons like this that I'd probably rather see an Octarine on the Techies before the Bloodstone, but he's going to have all 3 items in his inventory, Ags, Bloodstone, and Octarine before too long, so I suppose you can't really fault him. Well, this is the patented Scotty Techies.
You gotta get that slow damage, man. Techie's threat level is gonna skyrocket. I think weird thing for Swag, late game itemization for Razor, he's gone for Shivas, and that's fine, but Darkseer also has Shivas, so that's a little bit awkward. At least you want one of these heroes, ideally Razor, to be going for an Assault Cuirass if you really want to get armor. And if you really want, you know, a little more survivability, maybe even consider a Butterfly, but Shiva's definitely not the correct item. You still get the damage from the blast, you still get a lot of armor from it, but could be better for the Razor.
It's worth noting that you can disassemble Shivas, so maybe we'll see the Darkseer opt for that and go for a Scythe instead, or something along those lines. I'm actually surprised that he finished up the Shiva's guard, since he was sitting on the recipe and the Mystic Staff for quite some time. Excuse me, he could have just sold that recipe, but ooh, yeah, they're going to look for the Light Striker right onto Tiny. They have a Laguna Blade, but relocate out, and it looks like it's going to be the sacrificial lamb here. He has a Glimmer Cape when he comes back up, and a Creep Wave is going to be sliding through, but now they have to deal with top. Wind Ranger was looking for a focused fire. They have a tech. He's caught out, looking to go on towards his Mind Sign, but they're going to call his bluff and Laguna Blade him down. Shackle going to latch raise into a creep and trying to run away. Blink, blink. Wind Ranger is going to be pursued by the Lina. Dragon Slave is going to fly through, does damage, but they don't have any further way to catch her out.
Now bottom lane, Tiny is back. He got relocated, yanked right back in. They're gonna Song, try to get this Darkseer into position, try to get a couple more heroes into this position. RJ Matt's dying to his own overcharge. Pop the BKB on the Tiny right now. He's trying to go to the Darkseer, but he's way too tanky. RJ Matt's gonna try to hide in the corner, but he has no escape from this position. He'll go down, and Tiny is also gonna die. That's 2 kills, but the Aegis is going to bring him right back up very shortly, and top lane's being taken in the meantime. Tiny's gonna get vacuumed back. I don't see Tiny actually getting out of this scenario, so he will die twice. And he actually doesn't have a buyback, but melee Rax isn't taken up on the top lane. Swag have a 70-second opportunity to go for Raxes. Mid lane's pushing in, but that's not enough up against the techies. Just one landmine will clear out the entire push.
Swag also are going to be absolutely terrified. There's no real opportunity for them to go for these pushes since Techies hasn't been visible on the map and he hasn't actually been placing that many mines aggressively. For all that Swag know, he has like 20 mines defending high ground right now. It's just not something that they can go ahead and do. So that's a big win for Shift, although Razor might try his best, and they do have, they have no detection on the Wyvern. This gets sketchy. Gem's still on Monogastar, and she's falling way back behind, so I think Tiny should be back up before they wholeheartedly go for this. They kind of need that Gem.
Oh, one remote mine rather, not going to Creep Wave. Creep a little bit slow on the draw there. Nagasar slow but barely is incoming. 30 seconds left on the Roche, on the Tiny respawn rather, and the remote mines are being chipped in one at a time. Yet the Aghanim Scepter Razor is going to slowly start to chip away at this mid lane tier 2. They're also just waiting for Lina to find an angle to initiate onto someone. Ideally this Lion with that Yule Scepter. They'll actually grab the techies and drop a wall on them, and actually Zuri jumps right into it. They get the curse on the creep as well. Aryamad's forced to sit there and just attack his ally, and now he's going to get dropped as well. It's instant 3-kill. Looking for a fourth from the Wind Ranger. She's slowed down though with the Wind Run. Thinking about continuing on this fight. Darkseer, not really an easy pick there, and well, now they have double buybacks on techies. Tiny's going to return back from the dead, trying to go for Pride. He's just going to turn around, start stealing the damage, netting down the BKB. Tiny will kill out the Wind Ranger in the background. Remote mine still being thrown out, but it's not doing enough right now. Tiny, he's losing all of his damage. He's going to get thrown up to the air. He lost 224. That's all being given to this Razor, who's now starting to hit very hard. However, Wind Ranger, she's down on the south end. She's not going to be able to get the kill on this Darkseer because of the embrace from the Wyvern. They're going to continue on this. They really want to get this full set of Raxes, but I don't think it's really possible. Yet Swag, even though they may pick off right now, as long as they don't lose anyone else on their retreat, they've taken the mid Raxes, they've equalized the Rax count, and they forced out a ton of buybacks from Shift.
Buyback time coming up from the Radiant side. Windrunner, Techies, as well as IO, all having to press that buyback button. And Lion and Tiny have none, at least for now. Tiny's 1,000 gold away before he has enough gold. And Tiny's pretty much 6th here, although Moonshard's a great item to have on Tiny. You don't really want to have to pass up the blink for anything, so you'd probably want to consume it, and this game is very, very close. A lot of it just comes down to initiations and who gets picked off, and right now it's kind of feeling like Swagger wants to have a slight edge, because this techie doesn't have anything on the map. High ground defense bombs, none of them. He has a couple here and there, but those aren't going to be super relevant. This is a very difficult game. For Shift, I want to say, they've just been picked off one too many times. And take a look at the network graph. That's actually pretty much the story of this game.
Yeah, a quick swing down of, a cool 10k in both golden experience very easily there. Swag now have a Razor who has a heart, so he can man fight the Tiny for ages. He will probably not win in the long run, but he also won't really be losing, which is decent for him. Nagasar, she actually is going to grab a Perseverance to the Diffusal Vlad's offering. Is it just going to be a refresher for her? It seems like Ned doesn't really want to know what he wants to build towards, but these are all, good items to have on your team, I suppose.
Maybe a Lincoln Sphere for easier high ground push, but top avalanche toss onto Lina, not quite enough to instantly kill her, and now Lina is going to try to run away so low, they just need a little bit more damage, but they can't find it. Now Cold Embrace going to heal up to Lina as they get a song into both the Io and the Tiny. Not sure why Razor's not static linking something, but even without it, they'll be able to blow up Tiny with the Winter's Curse and the Laguna Blade, and they'll finish off the Io up towards the north as well. Big pickoffs for Swag, as there is no buyback on the Tiny. He's 200 gold away.
Well, they see the Lion as well. They catch him. Don't expect the Lina to be going this aggro with this little HP. She's going to not get the kill on the Lion, but still the Embrace is going to save her from the potential Wind Ranger drop. And now the Darkseer wants to get on top of this Wind Ranger. With another Shackle in 3 seconds, I don't know if they can actually kill her off, although with the free-handed LSA, they'll land that one. Now try to just race the Wind Ranger. Shackle's going to land. She's going to Wind Run straight out of this, right into Razor and Naga. She blinks down to the south, tries to TP. It looks like no one's actually there to cancel it. Vacuum, not in time. No LSA either. Somehow the Wind Ranger makes it out of there by the skin of her teeth, but still with 40 seconds on the cooldown until Tiny's back up. Only thing that's standing between Swag and Rax right now, 2 remote mines. And I don't think that's going to quite be enough, especially, actually, well, backdoor protection might kick in. Maybe soon to save them. I don't know if it's going to be enough. It seems like Raxes are within their reach right now.
Yeah, the backdoor protection is going to be disabled by the next quick wave, but this time around there are no bombs to clear that up. BK popped by the Razor, Link onto the Windrunner, although that doesn't steal any damage. Tier 3 tower is already down very low. The constant mine harass coming up from the techies is annoying, but it's not going to win them this fight or even stop these barracks from being taken. Looking at Earthspike in mid, trying to focus down this Lina with the Daedalus crits coming up with the Windrunner and the Finger of Death. They'll be able to secure it, but now Song of the Siren, Naga Siren's just going to keep everybody inside the well, although she's going to TP back out. This is space for the Razor to put some damage onto the barracks. He's going to focus down ranged, excuse me, and they'll get it. I'm going to relocate into the back lines. Earthspike over onto 2. Billy as well as the stand under caught out. The focus fire hits from the low ground are going to put a little bit of damage to the Darkseer, but here's the big guns. Cold Embrace is going to stop him from killing off the Darkseer now, but maybe they can just focus back Billy. But no, they bring the Tiny all the way back to base. Suicide will kill off one. The focus fire will finish off the other. Swag don't get as much as I thought they would. They only get a range barracks top and a range barracks mid, although that's okay. That's far from devastating for SHIF. They have heroes that are great at dealing with super creeps.
I think the remote mine harassment there from the techies was just enough to buy them the minor amounts of seconds that they needed. The Wind Ranger is also packing a cannon at this point, and if she finds an angle to freely right-click someone, don't really care who it is, even if it's going to be the Razor, they're going to be taking a hell of a lot of damage. So 28 to 47, and the base of SHIF not looking too great, but I think the more important thing is that SHIF are constantly getting picked off. Even though they hold this time, just given their past couple of pushes, the way that they've been executing, the way they've been getting Tiny picked off constantly with the IO as well, it doesn't really bode well for them in the future. So though Swag might not have taken Raxes this time, SHIF really need to play more cautiously if they want to avoid what just happened, where they lose the IO Tiny and then they immediately get pushed.
Especially if Lina picks up something like a Refresher Orb as her next item, which I think would be absolutely amazing in this game. You could very easily burst somebody down 100-0, anybody really, except for the Tiny perhaps, but even the Tiny is not going to feel very comfortable with Dragon Slave, ult Refresh, ult Dragon Slave.
Or just, you know, Laguna Blade, have the Razor kill him off in the end, or just use the Laguna Blade to kill off the IO, thereby making sure that the Tiny has no escape route and you could kill him off slowly from there on out. So many options if she's actually going to go for that item. With so much gold, she can actually go for whatever she wants. Lincoln Sphere being picked up by Ned just in time, kind of, although it doesn't really do that much here. She's going to try to sing, not in time. Drops the gem as well. Swag don't have a backup gem. Not really sure what happened. Did that actually go back to Shift? It must have. Not really sure where that is, because...
Why aren't you picking up the gem?
Don't need a gem. Why do you need a gem?
Who needs a gem?
Gems are stupid. Don't use them, guys. Don't ever use them. With the Naga Siren kill, though, 50 seconds, she doesn't have a buyback. She just bought a Lincoln Sphere. This is SHIF's time to try to make something happen. Shackling the Dark Sphere, that's a pretty good way to start. BKB is up on Matthias right now. They'll try to go for RJ Matt instantly in the back lines. He'll try to glimmer himself out and he will survive. But then again, so will everyone else in Swag. They drop the wall, which is going to make a pretty big illusion of the win right now, but they shift right on out of it. And they're actually going to drop the Dark Sphere, forcing out a buyback. Pride is in the middle of everything with a BKB props, and he'll go right to town on the Wind Ranger, get that kill. Relocate out is going to save the Tiny. Blink forward from the Dark Sphere. Shiva's Guard going to catch Techies on the tail end of it. He has a suicide, and I don't think they have enough burst damage to instantly kill him off before he gets it off. He will commit suicide. Now they're going to go right into RJ Mad. Does he have do they have True Sight? Well, they're kind of right on top of them, and they will eventually find the eye. There he is. Glimmer Cake won't save you this time, Mad. He's going to dodge the LSA, but he will drop. The gem is actually still here, and Swag seems like they don't know about it. But with 3 heroes down, even though Tiny's still alive, I think Swag can just go in and go for the Megas.
As scary as Tiny is, the real damage in these last couple of fights has been coming from the Windrunner, and she's down for the count. Nothing that she can do about this, and she's 50 gold away from buyback. Although she might have buyback when she has like 17 seconds on her respawn timer or something along those lines, she needs it now, because they're going to be pressured very heavily with no mines again inside their base.
Where are all of these mines? Like, he's just using it to clear out waves? That's not really what you want to be doing. I mean, you want to be doing that, but not exclusively that. You should be doing more. They're going to lift up Tiny with the Eul Scepter, drop him into an LSA. Razor going to start the link. Luna Blade is going to be thrown. Tiny is going to get vacuumed back. He's dropping so low so quickly. He doesn't even have enough damage if he wants to turn around. They'll kill off Lion for the collateral damage. And Tiny is going to blink back to his base. Glimmer Cape saving his ass for the upteenth time, but to what end? There's no Wind Ranger, he said. Wind Ranger is most of the damage. He's going to be forced to buy back just to prevent Megas from being picked up. They have no Lion right now. Swag are ready to fight. They have the Naga Siren in a good position right now. Throw the net over towards Matthias. CKB's available on the Wind Ranger. Is going to use it finally. They jump right in with the Tiny. Go right on top of the Lina. Curse is there. It's on the Tiny. And they also sing in the background, which isn't really doing that much. Pride is doing so much damage right now and also stealing a lot more from the city. Shiva's Guard's going to blast out and he's now looking for more targets. They have the Tiny drop to no damage. They do relocate him out at the upteenth time, but Techies is left behind. He will go down 36 seconds on the sideline now as Lina does buy back, wants back into this, so does Tiny. Gonna straight in, try to go for the Razor, but he's so tanky right out the heart regen. He's just gonna man fight everyone. The Laguna Blade's gonna take out the Wind Ranger. Now Tiny, he's pretty much all alone with his IO partner, but I don't think they have enough damage to actually do this. They're attacking so slowly at this point. They'll try to go for Ned, but he lives at 50 HP. And now Tiny, he's gonna get worked down by everyone, and he's gonna die. RJ Matt is also down. This is game. This is Megas.
GG going to be called by Shift, and it started so well for their team too. The Tiny had pretty much the dream start. He had a 15-minute Aegis Scepter blink or something ridiculous like that with Treads, Magic on Bracer. And from there on out, Shift just got picked off time and time again, and they were the team that was supposed to be looking for those same picks, but all that it really took was 1 or 2 bad fights at the end of the game, and especially about 5 to 10 minutes ago, everything kind of fell apart for them. It really was kind of a sad game to watch, especially the Techies. I had high hopes, but there really was never any high ground defense, no kill stacks, and at that point, all he was really doing was pushing waves.
Yeah, the Techies display was kind of disappointing coming out from the Shift side. If he was doing anything, if he had, a sizable mine stack, a couple of sizable mine stacks, he would have been in such a better position. I feel like at a certain point, he just stopped casting landmines and the stasis traps because they just weren't there. He was using the remotes to clear the wave, but not good enough. Though Decky's kind of disappointing, and Swag are eventually going to slog their way through a 50-minute game, claim the victory, and make this a 2-0 series. Guys, this is going to mark the end of our day. We sincerely hope that you enjoyed the casting and the games today. It's been a long one, but if you did enjoy it, be sure to hit the follow button down below. Also follow us on Twitter at HeflaTV. Follow myself at Mike Loris. Follow my co-caster at GrandisV. But for right now, guys, we are out. See you later, guys.